How many years into this? Can't get me on camera
Am I on? I'm halfway off the camera.
for no reason. What are you doing? You don't have. What are you doing? Come into this thing.
Sup, fam? Sup, Liza? Sup, William? All right. We're just going to start this. Sup, Carrie? Here we go, guys. Good evening. It's Randy Cam right now. All right, guys. So as you guys know, we are starting the 2023 season. And the dates have been announced. And we're doing a couple of things different this year. We are, for the first time ever in Revolutionize history, yo, Kayla, we are having, Kayla sent a request. I can't bring you on live, dude. We have, for the first time ever, we are going to do an additional federation from the NPC. So there's another federation called the OCB. We will potentially be doing two, not one, but potentially two OCB shows in addition to some NPC shows. These shows are categorized, marketed, however, as all natural shows.
And for the experience we've had, they've been pretty serious about it.
Now, there are many different ways of looking at this, and we would like to trust that if we are going to be doing these shows for the natural athletes, that it will be drug tested and it will be taken seriously.
We're going to take it seriously, put it that way. Regardless of the way they do it, if you can get around it, we're not going to play that game.
Correct.
So if you're doing that show, you have to be drug-free for a couple of years.
Right. Are there potentially athletes?
We don't care. That's not what we're talking about. We as Rev are not going to go in and have someone pop.
Absolutely fucking not. But I need to make sure that you know that potentially maybe somebody else is taking something and they were able to get around the drug test.
And in all fairness, from what
disclaimers,
that isn't the case though. And in all seriousness, from the level of competition I've seen there, it seems legitimately natural.
So we're going to find out. We do take this very seriously. We take the health of our athletes and the mental health, physical and mental health of our athletes extremely seriously, which is why we screen you guys to begin with to even come into contest prep. And like, I know you guys see me goof off a lot. I take this extremely seriously.
Yeah. And we're doing these shows. It's something we've gone back and forth against internally for, 5, 6 years, 7 years longer, probably. And we haven't done it because the NPC is the big leagues. The IFBB is the NFL. But, it's not tested. And years ago, it used to not matter as much, but it's becoming much and much more prevalent. So our natural athletes are having a tougher time competing at the higher levels in it. And I'd say it's becoming unfair in that sense.
I agree.
And
we're not going to push the drugs on athletes just because as coaches, we want another gold trophy. We want to, that's not
or even
what
a fifth place trophy because they don't mean anything. Drugs doesn't mean anything in that sense.
For many of our athletes, this is we kind of compare it to like you run the New York City Marathon. You're just trying to get past the finish line. That is what it is for a lot of our athletes. And
that doesn't change no matter what federation you're in.
Correct. But as much as we try to teach that with them, because
we're all competitive in nature.
In the end, you end up going to the show, you don't place the way you want to place, and you envision winning first place in your head, you don't get it. And then all of a sudden, that goal to finish the marathon, all of a sudden becomes, well, I didn't get first place in the marathon.
And the focus then goes on what is everybody else doing and not what you're doing. So this is becoming more, we're doing the OCB shows so we can take those extracurriculars out of the equation, perceived or not perceived.
Now you need to also know.
These people are still maxing out their genetic potential naturally.
100%. These athletes are still
studs.
Incredible. So you're not just going to walk into a show and take first place. And I need to make sure that you understand that because you need to have a realistic expectation of what this is.
Again, I'm not going to also sugarcoat it and talk it up like, there is a vast difference. There's a difference.
There's a difference.
But if you would have not placed
overall,
but if you were to not place the top 10 at a local show at NPC, you're probably not going to be winning or taking an overall in the OCB.
Okay. The work, the genetics, the discipline, the years of experience, the amount of muscle you have, the conditioning, it all still matters.
Basically, the pros and the top OCB athletes, if they added drugs, they'd probably be top NPC people too.
Yes.
It's just they not.
I know OCB pros who are fucking phenomenal.
Yeah, so
they have everything.
So if they were to add in X, Y, and Z, they would look like
100%.
the other athletes because genetically they're the same level.
Right. So I don't want you to take this. Oh, we're doing OCB. It's going to be easier.
But
I
if you're
don't want
someone
that
who's maybe been getting a third or fourth and getting knocked out by people who are clearly taking, this could be a really good option for you to feel fair.
Right. So to all of our athletes, we will be discussing these show dates with you in person.
Well, we have them. So this was the point of this tonight, to announce our dates.
Yes, they are.
So we have, off the top of my head, we have May 20th will be OCB in Burlington. June 17th will be the Ultimate Physique Championships in Allentown at the same location as the Lehigh Valley Show I've done in the past, but it's about a third to half the athletes, so a little less competitive than that show. And last year's running of that show was a complete aberration. Great promoter, so do not expect it ever again.
Yes, that's an NPC show, just to remind you. We obviously have Universe.
NPC Universe will be that first weekend in July or last weekend in June. Mm-hmm. And that'll be, 3-4 days. We'll discuss that with the people that are looking at that in person.
Right. Muscle Beach.
No.
Potentially.
No, we're not doing Muscle Beach.
No, we're not we can't do the NJ State Championships.
Oh. Okay. So yes, we have that thing. So we have Muscle Beach.
Which is the last
which is the last
weekend
the 29th in July.
Mm-hmm.
And then the 17th or the 20th?
The 26th.
26th is the last Saturday in August will be another OCB show in Burlington.
Yes.
We will be coaching virtually for any show on the schedule around the world.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the 5 shows we will be at personally.
Correct. And that's what we usually like to put our athletes in, because obviously as your coaches, we want to be there with you. Although there's a couple that fall outside of that group that, we have to work with virtually.
And again, there's no issue to that. You'll be getting the exact same service, except we will not be their day of show.
Correct.
But we will be FaceTiming you, texting you. For all intents and purposes, we will be there spiritually, just not in person.
Correct. So those are the dates. Write them down. If you missed it, you can watch this back, or you can hit us up. We'll send you the dates.
We'll be posting it after.
We'll be posting. Now, if you are interested in contest prep, you need to understand what you're getting into. If you're interested in contest prep, first of all, you do have to start in our general lifestyle nutrition program at Revolutionize. You need to learn how to
track macros,
do everything.
do everything. And
Randy and I do not teach.
We're not good teachers at this point. We haven't done it in a long time. Yeah. We're really focused on, when you're meeting with us, hitting the numbers it's just a thing we expect. So I'm not even going to check them really.
Hitting the numbers consistently.
Every day. Like every day.
Your workout intensity every day. These are things that are expected of you that we shouldn't have to sit and review with you.
Yeah. We'll be optimizing those, optimizing posing.
Correct.
But it's a little different in that
sense. Posing's new for you working with us. That you're not expected to know at all.
No, but we're going to optimize everything, not teach.
Yes. So that when you come to us for contest prep, you have to start there. Second, you need to understand that another reason why you do start in the lifestyle nutrition program is because this is kind of a screening process for your mental health. So, okay, I see you can follow things, you could do things, but are you mentally prepared to handle the stressor and the intensity that's expected of you in contest prep? It is not a weight loss program.
And the best word to have it, it's a mind fuck.
It is a mind fuck. It is an extreme. You are pushing your body not to beach lean. You are pushing it and surpassing it past that. It is not the healthiest thing in the world. Long term, even if you approach it with the healthiest methods.
Being stage lean all year is not realistic.
That's not a real thing. It's
especially naturally
not happening. So do not compare yourself to people on Instagram. Do not compare yourself to the filters on Instagram.
Well, and even forgetting that your year 1 won't be someone else's year 10.
And that we're going to repeat that like a billion times. If you just started working out last week, 6 weeks ago, a year ago, even 2 years ago, you have to understand that you're still raw in the sport, and you're going to go on stage next to somebody who may have potentially been doing this for 10 years.
But it also may have been their first show, but they may have been bodybuilding for 10, 20 years.
Let's repeat that as well. You can be a bodybuilder without competing. So if competing is something that's going to mess with your head, you can still be a bodybuilder and shoot for like a photo shoot or something like that.
Honestly, some of the best influencers and richest bodybuilders in the world don't compete.
They don't compete.
Because it's nothing to do with how good you are in that world.
Yeah.
It's you have a good enough look and do people like you?
Right.
Can you sell products?
You have to understand that when the show is over, your adrenaline drops and you have to navigate back into the real world again, coming out of contest prep. That is not an easy thing for people to do. If you feel like that is something that could potentially be an issue for you, or maybe you have a history of body dysmorphia and eating disorders, things like that, I will talk you out of this sport.
Yeah. Again, there's not to say if you have a history of it and it's under control, you can't do this.
Correct.
But if you feel that, if like you're an alcoholic and someone put a drink in you, you'd still want to drink, don't do the sport.
Right.
In terms of body dysmorphia.
I cannot stand to see somebody that I care about, because all my athletes and our members,
Clients,
I care about
anyone in our
you.
Rev orbit.
Even in our orbit, you don't even have to be an active member. We genuinely care about you. For me to know that something like this can put you down a dark path, I can't stand to watch that. And if I feel like you're going in a dangerous direction, I'm going to pull you out. I'm going to talk you out of it. And it sounds so counterintuitive to what I usually say, because I'm usually like, yeah, you can do it. But honestly, yes, you can do it, but it's not always the right decision for everybody.
Yeah. And your definition of doing it and our definition of doing it are two different things. Our definition of doing it is you did your absolute best, followed your program, and whatever happened on the stage happened.
Yeah.
So, if that's not your best approach and really what you're looking at, and let me not get this twisted, you can have that approach and win an overall.
Mm-hmm.
You could win pro. You could be Mr. Olympia with that approach. You just have to understand what you're getting into.
We've had people that we know, actually nobody that we know personally, or worked with personally, but people that have stepped off stage winning a show and they are still not happy with themselves, not in a self-improvement sort of way, like, hey, I want to be better for my next show, but in a very toxic, dangerous way. So you need to understand that winning a show is not going to make you feel great about your body
if you didn't feel decent about it in the first place. And Kayla has a great point there about daughter not being an astronaut. I like to say all the time, I could have trained basketball with the world's greatest basketball coaches from the time I was 5 till the time I was 20. I was never going to be a high-level basketball athlete. I just didn't have the pieces. It just wasn't there for me. Genetics do matter in this world.
Very much.
Doesn't mean you can't take subpar genetics very far and do very well locally even.
Mm-hmm.
But certain things may be out of reach.
Correct. You'll still suck.
Kayla kind of said it harder, but appropriately.
But it's true. Hey, Carly, I see you. But it is true. This is a very, very sensitive topic. It's a very important topic to discuss, and you just need to know exactly what you're getting involved in, and to really to have that internal conversation with yourself, and to know, is this the right move for me? Because I feel as though the last few months I've been talking more people out of this sport than into it.
And Kayla, you're joking, but you're actually correct. You just said it more.
No, you're 100% correct. Now, what does contest prep entail on our end? What do we do? So you should already know nutrition and flexible nutrition and tracking your macros. And you should already have years under your belt of lifting, to be honest with you.
You shouldn't be more than, and again, these numbers change person to person, but as a man, 25 to 30 pounds outside that weight. A woman, maybe 20 to 30, depending on your size. Someone's closer to 15, 20.
It would be less, because we pick you up when you're 16 weeks out for a show, and I'm not going to cut 30 pounds off of a woman in 16 weeks.
Yeah, so
I'm not doing that. It's not okay.
Again, that might be one of the things where I think starting in January, we maybe have a month of pre-prep.
Right. Even if we're doing a pound a week, and that's 16 pounds off of you, it's tight. So you have to understand, like, we're not going to put you in a show if you're not ready. I've just gotten a lot harder with that. I don't care if it breaks your heart and you had your heart set on a show. If you're not ready, I'm pulling you.
Yeah, the dates obviously matter, but what matters is your physique ready that day.
Yeah. So at that point, you should know how to do everything. Once you start to come over to Randy and I, we are going to pick you up when we feel you're about 16 weeks out from your show date. As long as everything goes according to plan, we will be from there tweaking your nutrition, making sure and monitor your training program is where it needs to be, and monitoring it as well. We will be doing your posing practice every week.
And also you're expected to be doing that in the time between us, your homework.
100%. Every time you come in, you should know and review and master what you have learned the previous
Well, master is a strong word, but you should
master what we practiced the
Yeah.
previous week.
The way I more like to explain it is on day one, you're going to make 100 mistakes. Hopefully on week 2, it's 90 mistakes and so forth.
Yes. But if you come in, I will know if you haven't practiced.
Yes.
I
And no
will
one's going to
know.
be perfect on day one.
I'm not asking for perfection.
But there is a level of satisfactory you need to be.
Yes.
And
Just do your homework.
the homework means listen to us.
Just practice. You will have constant contact with us. So you can reach out to us anytime, any day. If we don't answer, it's just because we're sleeping or we're meeting with another client. Other than that, this is our full-time job. This is not a part-time job. It's not a side job. It's not a side hustle. This is what we do for a living.
There's a reason we don't take on 100 content for our clients is so we can give you the
correct
service you deserve.
Kayla goes, oh, she'll know. I'll know. And I'm just not fucking around
And Michelle is
anymore.
actually the tougher one than me.
I'm just not fucking around anymore.
Like, I'm going to be your X's and O's,
patience.
but she's going to tell you when you're ready or not ready.
Correct.
Likely. I'll sugarcoat it a little.
And then I'll yell at Randy for sugarcoating it too much.
Yeah.
You will have, from there, we will be doing this with you regularly. The day of the show, we will be with you for those show dates that we announced.
Those five dates.
If it's not that show date, we will be in touch with you virtually.
And we didn't say it, but NPC Universe is something you have to qualify for.
Oh, we'll go into that next.
Well, honestly, it may not be worth going into now, because if you're not pretty much qualified or competed already, it probably shouldn't be an idea for you.
And if you qualified at a local show, I don't even know if it's top 5 or top 2 or whatever.
Let's call it top 2.
All right. I was gonna say if it was top 5 and you're getting 5th place, you should not be going to NPC Universe.
I'll use Michelle for that. She was winning overalls and still took last place at Universe. And that's a normal thing. That's not a weird thing. That's a normal thing.
That big of a level of a competition step up. So you get off
and then
the
she
stage.
Went pro eventually. I don't want to.
Yeah, I went pro eventually. It took me 3 tries. But you have to understand that if you're winning a local show, it does not guarantee you that you're going to go pro at NPC Universe. You might end up back down at the bottom of the barrel again.
And
it's
Kayla's
a level of
good example. She's consistently placed in top 3 at hard level shows for 5 years now, 6 years.
And Kayla's
diced year round. So
diced.
Some people's contest prep is her fluffy.
Literally. But that just goes to show you the extreme between lean and stage lean. They're two very different
things. And she's a bodybuilder whether she gets on stage or not.
Right. And so from there, let me continue what's involved. We are with you the day of your show. After your show, we sit down and we discuss what's next. Are we going to go into a reverse diet? Are we going to do another show? Or are we going to go back into lifestyle nutrition? But you have us for a reverse diet for 4 weeks after your show. You will continue to meet with Randy and I. That's included in your contest prep package. I need more dice. She says, what was I going to say right after that?
A reverse diet after us.
That'll come to me.
But those are the main hits.
Those are the main
We do have a lot of more info on this if it's something you're interested in on our YouTube. There's a lot of bodybuilding videos on there.
Yeah. Where we go into behind the scenes, what's expected behind the scenes.
Each class a little
more.
More.
Yeah, breaking down the classes.
And a lot of times, we're not going to go into too much today because it's really like a beginner video of about it. A lot of times your class is decided by your genetics. Sometimes you can grow out of a class or lean into a class, but normally your frame is your frame for the most part.
For that point in time, at least.
And we'll advise you, but at the end of the day, if you say, I don't care where I'm best, I want to do this, I'm going to let you, whether it's a bad idea or a good idea, but I'll tell you it's a bad idea.
Right. There was totally something else I wanted to say. You're going to have a lot of people chirping in your ear during contest
Good
prep.
and bad.
Good and bad. You're going to have people that come out of the woodworks to support you, and you're going to have people that are going to question everything you do, not get it, and have some backhanded compliments to you.
And then even with the best of intentions, you're going to get too many chefs in the kitchen sort of thing.
Yes. But that's where I want you to ask us questions. If something is confusing you, you're hearing contradicting information, you talk to us about it.
Yeah,
we're here to help you.
Even though we said you should know everything, you should know all the basics. There's a lot of things you still shouldn't know, and that's what we're there to help you with.
Yes. If you guys have questions, just drop them in the comments. But this was more of an announcement to let you guys know that we are going to try OCB this year. We wanted to let you know the show dates that we'll be at. We want you to fully understand
the difference between them.
And also understand the difference between weight loss, fat loss, beach lean, and stage lean.
Yeah. Well,
and to be able to comprehend and be okay with that type of extreme. Just know what you're getting yourself into.
But I also tell people, when you're a general nutrition client or even a photo shoot, beach lean, whatever you're looking to, 85% will 100% get you there. 100%. But for the stage, 85% will not get you there. It needs to be 95 to 100.
Yeah. And don't use the stage. Don't Don't do a show because it motivates you to lose weight.
Yeah, it's a bad idea.
It's a bad idea.
Lose the weight first, then if you still want to do it, great.
We've had over a decade of experience just with Rev, and not including what we did
And I've
before
been involved in
this.
bodybuilding pretty much since
And
a long time.
using a show as a source of motivation to lose weight is not it.
It never ends well.
Ever.
It could be your motivation to get started on your journey to the stage. Absolutely. So don't take it the wrong way and say, if I have weight to lose, I should never go on stage. But if you have 100 pounds to lose, you should be starting general nutrition for a year or two and then the stage.
Guys, if I'm being kind of harsh today or not my usual self, it's because I'm just very protective.
Yeah, this is serious, this one.
I'm like
different.
I'm very protective of you guys, your physical health, your mental health, and to make sure you just
and this is not
you're
something
doing this for the right reasons. I love this sport. I am enthusiastic. I love this sport. I love it, but I also hate a lot of it.
And also me and Michelle, you know, everything's a business, obviously, but we
Thanks,
don't do this side of it totally for the business. It is a love we do.
This is passion.
So we're going to be a little more brutally honest if it's a good idea or not for you.
Yeah. And if you're not sure, if you want to bounce it off of us and be like, hey, I've been thinking about it, but this,
And
I'm
sometimes
not sure.
I've had people come
Talk
to me
to
who
us.
look lights out and have the mentality, and I go, no, you aren't ready to compete. You should.
Yeah.
So just because you don't think you are does not mean you aren't.
Yes. You just have to have a really good head on your shoulders. You have to have a really balanced mindset to be able to handle this, and to also handle the fact that you are going to go on stage and be judged in front of hundreds, if not thousands of people. And you need to be okay with that, because you need to make sure that you're doing this for the right reasons.
And people are going to, be chirping on your Instagram photos, your posts, all that good stuff.
Yeah. So, you teach health. Yes. Yes. And that's, we teach health.
First and foremost,
First and foremost, we are not those coaches that are going to push you too hard that all of a sudden it's gonna hurt you and it's gonna hurt us.
Yeah. And also, I'm not going to tell someone, who's looking to go to the highest level, if they come to me and say, I'm doing X, Y, and Z, I'm probably not going to talk you out of it either.
Right.
I'm just not going to push it.
Right.
So that's a personal choice, one that I'm agnostic on. That's a you thing, not a me thing.
Yeah. There's a dark side to this sport. If you're going to go down it,
talk to us, please.
Talk to us. And there's a darker side to this sport. And if you're going down that, I want to save you.
Yeah.
So
if we could,
it's I've seen a lot of really shitty stuff happen. I've seen amazing things happen, but there is a dark side.
Yeah, I've seen more good than bad happen, but the bad usually is you remember.
Exactly. The bad's always gonna leave a really big scar on you.
Yeah.
I feel like people need a good reason to
do, not just to do it.
Yeah.
And that's the truth.
Agree.
Your why should be pretty solid.
Your why has to be there. Oh, Melissa, I love you. Yeah. So if you guys have more questions about this, and you just want to have a real heart to heart,
or if you see us in the office, grab us for 2 seconds.
Hit us up. I will be honest with you. As you guys know, I consider myself a pretty motivating person. I'm usually pretty enthusiastic and excited about things, and I want to see. I know anybody's capable of doing anything. It's just sometimes that thing is not the right thing.
What's this? The Jurassic Park is we didn't worry if we should.
Yeah. So I just want to, we will be honest. And my honesty is not to break anybody's heart. It's
more to maybe give you the right timeline.
And then timing is another thing. So maybe this goal is a great goal for you, but maybe not this year.
Right. If you're doing it because you want to get ready for your wedding, it's not a great idea.
No.
If you have a vacation, too many vacations we can't work around, probably not a great idea. If you know you can't give up socializing and drinking, you definitely shouldn't do it. In all seriousness,
especially drinking.
You're not going to be drinking those 16 weeks.
There's no alcohol.
And if you do, we usually will know.
And then that's another thing. If that is your regular lifestyle,
it's going to be a very hard switch.
It's going to be a hard switch, but when that show's over, you're probably going to go back to binge drinking again. I'd like to say you won't, but I see it happen too often. And then you blow up and then you're upset that you gained 30 pounds. So
it's a neither here nor there. If you're fine with that lifestyle, hey, that's cool, man. Yeah. If stage and off season are cool, different things for you. Yeah. And Kayla's right. Drinking doesn't fit ever.
It doesn't fit ever. And this isn't a phase. It sounds so corny when people say it, it's a lifestyle, but it is. You need to already be living this lifestyle to do this sport.
Yeah, there's a reason I never took it to the stage level, even when I was at my most fit. Yeah. I didn't have that motivation, that why.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed every other aspect of it, but that extra diet they would have taken. No, I didn't have that.
I mean, I didn't have that Y this year.
Yeah.
I've been competing since 2013. I didn't have the Y this year. This year, my Y went more towards I want to travel and I want to
some
focus on the
marketing.
business
Yeah.
and I want to focus on marketing. I want to focus on my clients. It wasn't on me getting on stage, and that's okay. So I hope taking an already athlete to the next level.
Yeah,
That's
that's the
it.
best way to say it.
That's it.
The whole seminar could have been summed up with that one line.
It really could have. So yeah, I hope you don't take what we said anything the wrong way, because I think you guys are very used to like me being like, yeah, do it. But
it's a different level. That's all. It's as simple as that.
A lot has changed in this sport over the last few years, and I've just become a lot more protective of my people than anything.
And we've seen it too many times. You know, after you see it too many times, you see the warning signs and you want to stop, and sometimes you can't stop it.
Yeah.
So that's all.
So this comes from a place of a lot of love.
Yeah, but next time we talk to you, it'll be more about killing your New Year's goals and all that fun stuff. It'll be more on that vibe. Athletes are fucking dying, and
so
that's
Kayla,
not an exaggeration.
If you guys are watching this later, Kayla wrote athletes are fucking dying.
In record numbers.
In record numbers.
Young.
Very young people we know personally. And that is when this sport took a very dark turn for everyone.
Yeah.
So she's not over exaggerating when she says that. It's because people are pushing themselves too hard. And I'm not talking about pushing themselves too hard with diet and exercise. I'm just talking about pushing themselves too hard with a fuck ton of drugs.
And again, we've done the drugs. I'm not going to get too much into tonight, but it's a drug and it can be addictive, even though it's not physically addictive. It's mentally addictive.
Yeah. So, and that's where the body dysmorphia comes into play as well, because if you have amazing physique and then you want that and all of a sudden you're not taking the gear and you don't see it anymore, it can fuck with your head too. So you just have to make sure you can handle
and
that.
That's the shitty part of it. People don't take drugs because they don't work.
Right.
They take them because they work, but side effects.
Right. Coaches are coaching people to death. Yeah. So there's coaches that are literally, they don't give a fuck.
And they haven't lost an ounce of business.
They don't give a fuck about this person's quality of life.
Yeah. They'll basically, say, hey, it's at your own risk, and call it a day.
And that's it. And they are putting so much PED in these people's bodies, their hearts literally can't handle it, all to get a fucking trophy.
Or if there's an underlying issue, it gets exposed and blows up.
So that's the other thing. A lot of people don't realize they have underlying issues.
Or, there's just the not even death issues, losing all your masculine, feminine features. There's
a lot. And there's a lot of things that are irreversible in this sport.
Yeah, destroying your testosterone as a man, not being able to produce it naturally again after.
Right. So that is the dark side of the sport that we see a lot of, and many newcomers coming into the sport don't think it exists. It does very much exist, which is why we are attempting this OCB and seeing, how it plays out. We can't make promises,
but it should be a little. Well, we'll see.
We're curious.
We'll see.
Blood work. If you are somebody who is enhanced,
there's a lot of resources for you to stay healthy with.
Just do it
and talk to us. We can send you those resources as well.
I'm going to say it in quotes, do it the
healthiest way.
There's
safer ways to do
way, right?
Well, there are. There's a reason as many bodybuilders weren't dying in the 70s and 80s as are today.
I feel like I should have to be careful with everything I say, because I think people will pick everything I say apart.
But yeah, we'll talk. If you have more questions about that, please talk to us in person or DM us.
Correct.
Because I will be real with you. I just don't like saying it to people who may take it the wrong way.
Exactly, which is this platform right here.
And it's not the people that are on this, it's who may see this later.
Exactly.
Make it share too. And
exactly. Just kind of pick it apart. So again, it exists. There's ways of doing things, and now there's opportunity for people that
there's risk management.
There's
never not a risk, but there's risk management.
Yeah. I feel like we might just be babbling now, but again, I hope we got all of our main points clear. And like I said, or like Randy said before, there's a lot of other resources that we have on our YouTube and on this Instagram platform that
literally talk about this in way more depth, from the drugs to the bodybuilding to the classes.
So what to expect the day of the show.
There's some more sillier stuff,
like literally everything. But I feel like this was a little
heavier today, and we're just going to be the only one for the year.
Point.
But
to the point. Legs been destroyed, ready for
sleep.
Good.
All right, though, people, get some rest, get ready for Christmas, and we'll see you between Christmas and New Year. Probably.
Happy holidays. Bye.